Hey everybody, in this video we are going to solve two-step inequalities. So inequalities that require two steps to solve. So this first one we have b divided by -3 plus 4 is less than 13. So just like solving equations, we want to basically do the opposite of order of operations here, right? Because we are effectively working backward. So the first thing we want to do is subtract 4 from both sides. That would give us b divided by -3 is less than 9. Okay, then in order to isolate b, we need to multiply both sides by -3. That's the inverse operation of dividing by -3. Okay, now again, super important. Remember, when we multiply or divide by a negative value, we need to reverse the direction of the inequality. So this less than is going to become greater than. Leaves us with b is greater than 9 times -3 is -27. Our next example, we have 6y minus 7 is greater than 5. So the first step would be to add 7 to both sides, and we get 6y is greater than 12. The last step to isolate y would be to divide both sides by 6. And that gives us y is greater than 2. The next one here we have is 4 minus 3d is greater than or equal to 19. So remember, when we have 4 minus 3d, right, you could rewrite this as 4 plus -3d, or even -3d plus 4. Just want to make sure you remember that what we need to do here to isolate 3d would be to subtract 4 from both sides. So we subtract 4 from both sides, and that gives us -3d is greater than or equal to 15. And we divide both sides by -3. Again, we divided by a negative number, so we need to reverse the order of, or reverse the direction of our inequality sign. So it becomes less than or equal to, and d is less than or equal to -5. For this next one, we want to graph the solution of -7 times x plus 3 is less than or equal to 28. So the first thing we need to do here, because we've got these parentheses, is we need to use the distributive property. That will help us simplify and ultimately isolate x. So in order to do that, we've got -7 times x is -7x, and -7 times 3 is -21, and that's all less than or equal to 28. Okay, then we've got a -21 here, so if we add 21 to both sides, we get -7x is less than or equal to 49, and the last step is to divide by -7. That leaves us with x, again changing the direction. X is greater than -7. Now there is actually another way we could solve this one, so I want to show you this as well. So we have -7 times x plus 3 is less than or equal to 28. Now if you notice, -7 and 28 actually both have a common factor here, right? They can easily be divided by -7. So you could actually here, because -7 is being multiplied by this whole quantity x plus 3, we can divide both sides by -7. That would leave us simply with x plus 3. Again, we multiplied by a negative, so we change the direction. X plus 3 is greater than or equal to -4. And then we would subtract 3 from both sides, and we would get x is greater than or equal to -7. So you'll notice either of those ways works, and we get the same solution. So this worked very easily because, right, -7 and 28 have that common factor. They can both easily be divided by -7. If you had something like -7 and 29, I wouldn't advise using that strategy because you would get a more complex decimal to work with from the beginning. So let's look at our final example. It says graph the solution of -4 times n minus 10 is less than 32. And you may notice this is very similar to the last one. So we could either divide both sides by -4 to begin with, or we could use the distributive property. So again, we'll do both. If we divide both sides by -4, that leaves us with n minus 10. We need to change the direction of our inequality sign, so that's greater than. And 32 divided by -4 is -8. We then add 10 to both sides, and that leaves us with n is greater than 2. Once again, I'll show you we can use the distributive property instead. So in this case, we would multiply -4 times n is -4n, and -4 times -10 is positive 40. So now we have -4n plus 40 is less than 32. So we subtract 40 from both sides, and we get -4n is less than -8. Finally, we would divide both sides by -4, and we get n is greater than